Good morning. Hi, Leanna. So, good morning to those of you who are joining. I just want to talk a minute about props. You don't have to have any props in order to do this practice, but you might find them helpful. So if you want to grab a couple blankets or beach towels, even bath towels work fine. Those you might find helpful. Hi, Tara. Glad to see you all. We'll be starting in probably just a minute or so. So I have a couple blankets, block if you have it, upside down coffee cans or upside down little waste baskets or little step stools also work good for props. So just get creative. Books, you can use big, large books. I've got a bolster here. Maybe find some throw pillows that you can use instead. And again, if you don't have props, don't worry, you can do all of this stuff without props. We'll be having practice today a little less than an hour, just so that we can fall within the 1 hour cutoff on Instagram. And we'll go ahead and get started. So from here, bring the soles of your feet together. If you have a bolster or a block, you'll place the bolster up against your back and lie back on the bolster. For the block, it looks more like so. Taking it between the shoulder blades. And if your head doesn't quite feel comfortable resting on the mat, you can use another blanket or block, pillow to boost the head up. And the third option is without any props whatsoever, just lying completely flat on the mat with the soles of the feet together and the knees butterfly open. The prop on the upper body just allows the chest to open gently. Take the arms out to the sides. Just close your eyes, allow your body to settle. Allow your mind to settle. Take a deep breath in, fill the lungs. And then sigh it out. Releasing any tension, stress that you're carrying around. Just take a moment to check in with yourself here. Notice how you're feeling physically. Any aches or pains, any injuries you may be dealing with, any extra tension. This is a really stressful time for all of us that we're going through. And we hold that tension, that stress in our bodies. Just notice, where do you feel it gathering? Maybe it's the jaw or the shoulders, the hips. Another great place to hold emotions. The heart, especially when we're fearful, we tend to recoil, protect the heart. Notice how you're feeling mentally. Stressed, fearful, grateful, relieved, worried. So many different things that can be going through our minds. Notice your breath. Notice the belly rise as you breathe in, the chest expands. Chest falls and the belly softens as you breathe out. Relax your jaw, soften all of the muscles in your face. Bring your attention onto your breath. See if you can lengthen your inhales and exhales, longer than your natural breath, but still comfortable. So you might even imagine an inner focal point, maybe imagining a light between the eyebrows, just focusing your attention to that space. Hear your breath. Feel your breath. If you'd like to set an intention for your practice today, now is a good time to do so. It could be for yourself or for the world in general. Using the hands to draw the knees back together. Push up to a seated position. We'll be coming into a twist next. So lying on the mat, you might want a blanket or a pillow or a block. Take the knees so that they're resting right over the hips. The left arm comes out to the side like a cactus arm, 90-degree bend in the elbow. And on your exhale, drop your knees to the right. So your left shoulder blade should stay completely flat on the mat. If it starts to lift, that's where the blanket comes in. You just lodge it under the right thigh, pillow, block, whatever you have, just to bring the floor a little bit closer to you. And then maybe taking the gaze over the left shoulder if that feels okay on your neck. Imagine wringing out a washcloth. And that's the same position that our spine is in right now. Twists are very helpful for digestion. Massages the abdominal organs. Notice how the breathing changes in a twist. It's a little bit more difficult to get a full breath. So focusing heavily on the breath. Take a moment to think of 2 emotions that you may be struggling with right now. Whether it's fear or worry. And to now identify identify their opposites. So if you're fearful, the opposite would be peace, comfort, contentment. And each and every time you breathe in, imagine breathing in these comforting qualities. And on your exhale, imagine letting go of what you're struggling with. Letting go of any fear, worry, whatever's going on in your mind. And with each and every breath, use this practice as a means to stay focused and of letting go. Draw the knees back to the center. Switch sides. Taking the right arm out to the side. And on your exhale, drop your knees to the left. Gaze to the right. Right shoulder blade flat on the mat. Scan your body, searching for any areas that are holding tension, any areas that you notice resistance. And then visualize those spaces in your mind. And then take a deep breath in. Imagine that inhale breaking up all of the tension. And as you exhale, visualize all of that tension leaving the body with your breath. Do this for each and every breath. Draw the knees back to the center. Give them a hug, rock side to side. And then roll back and forth a couple times, making your way up to standing. Feet are about hips width apart. With your inhale, reach your arms up. much as you need to. Your forward fold might even look like this. This is perfectly acceptable. Allow your head and your neck to hang freely. Release your jaw. Release all tension from the shoulders and the upper back and the neck. You might move your head side to side slightly. This is dangling pose, which is good for stretching out the backs of the legs into the glutes and the hips, the low back as well, releasing the low back, releasing the head, the neck, the shoulders. It's also a great pose for sinus congestion. If you want to add a little extra weight, you might grab opposite elbows. Begin focusing on your breath. Noticing any thoughts that are coming and going in the mind. Just noticing, not getting involved, no judging or analyzing. Notice how you can calm your mind by using your breath. If you ever think of a time when you were angry or very agitated, there's a really good chance that your breathing was not calm, cool, and collective. So breath is a very powerful tool to bring the body back into a state of balance or equilibrium. Release your hands if they're bound. Bend your knees and slowly make your way up to standing. Take your time. Just giving yourself time to readjust. We'll be getting into a squat pose next, and I will show you some alternatives for those of you that squat is troublesome if you have any knee injuries or things like that. So you'll start by taking the feet a little bit wider, just very slightly wider than hips width. The heels are inward slightly and the toes outward slightly. And then start to bend the knees, coming into your squat. You can always support your bottom with a block or two if needed. And for those of you that this pose is painful for, you can come onto your back into Uttanasana, which is just like a squat, same sort of action in the hips, but no pressure on the knees. You can also do this against a wall. So if you imagine I had a wall and my feet were pressed against it, they would be on the wall pressed in such a position. And you can also just do this even without the wall. If you're in the traditional squat variation, you want to lift the heart, Roll the shoulders back and down the spine. You can rest your chin to your chest if you want to add a little extra stretch in the neck and shoulders. Ensure that your jaw is relaxed and your face is nice and soft. Notice any discomfort that you're feeling in your body and how that discomfort affects your mind and how it affects your breath. And try to soften into the pose. Try to smooth out the breath. Try to step back from your thoughts, just observing them rather than being involved with them. Now go ahead and make your way back up to standing. Shake out the hips. And then from here, take an inhale, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward. If you have blocks, have them handy. You're going to take your hands to the mat or to the blocks and then step the right foot back. Drop the right knee to the mat and then scoot your left foot over to the left, taking both hands inside of the left foot. So you're going to bump the right knee back so that the right thigh is at an angle. And you should feel this in front of the right hip. The left knee should be over the left ankle, directly over it, not past. And you can stay up on the palms. You can drop down to the forearms. You can drop down to a block if you're sort of halfway in between. This is our dragon pose. Now there's another variation which is more of a lunge, a low lunge. You can come up on the blocks and allow the hips to dip. Lifting the heart up and away from the hips. And this works into the low back a little bit and also the front of the right hip. Whereas the other variation is more into the hips specifically. This is one of those poses that tends to agitate the mind, if you will. Really just feeling a lot of discomfort. Try to soften any areas of the body that are tensing up. Shoulders, jaw. attention to your breath. Releasing the pose, make your way back to standing, stepping the right foot next to the left. Inhale, halfway lift, exhale, fold. And sway side to side, taking a little break in between sides. And when you're ready, step your left foot back, drop the left knee, and again, you can scoot the right foot over to the right side a little bit, bring both hands inside of the right foot. You can either stay in the palms, drop to the forearms, or blocks if you're in between, or maybe coming upright into more of a lunge. Right knee is over the right ankle. Your left thigh is at an angle. You should feel this pretty intensely in the left hip. If you're upright, the front of the left hip. Scan your body, see where you can soften. Ensure that your breath is smooth and steady. Focus your mind on your breath, on the physical sensation that you feel. One thing I love about yin yoga, and yoga in particular, is that it helps you to be focused in the present moment. So our minds are not wandering off into the future or into the past. It's a great way to truly practice being present. Letting go of any likes or dislikes, the whole idea of comfort versus discomfort, and just being with whatever sensation sensations you experience. Remembering that the one constant is your breath, and you do have control over your breath. Release the pose, making your way back to standing, stepping the left foot to meet the right. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Sway side to side. Making your way down to seated, dropping the hips down toward the mat. Bring the soles of your feet together for butterfly pose. So in this posture, if you have a difficult time sitting flat on the mat, you can always boost your hips up by sitting on a block or sitting on a folded blanket. That goes for any of the seated postures. Interlace your hands, place them around the toes. Inhale, sit nice and tall. And on your exhale, fold forward. Allow your back to round and your head to hang. Completely surrender your body weight to gravity. If you have a block or a pillow and you want to rest your head on it, if you get down that low, that's always an option. Or you can just let the head hang if that feels good on the neck. Again, scanning the body, noticing any resistance, breathing into those spaces, and releasing as you exhale. Getting rid of a little bit more tension with each and every exhale. Gently make your way upright. Extend your legs forward. Windshield wiper the feet side to side. We'll be coming into a straddle next, so taking the legs wide. If you have very tight hamstrings, I definitely recommend sitting up on a pillow or a couple books, block, whatever you have. And another thing that you might find helpful is to take a blanket or a towel and roll it and place it under the backs of each knee. That's if your hamstrings are super, super tight. Otherwise, I'm gonna go ahead and just fold forward here. I like to rest my hands on my legs so that I'm not leaning into my arms. And if you have a bit of flexibility, you might even find it nice to drape your hands behind you so that the whole upper body is completely free of any support. I'm just using that weight to sink deeper into the pose. Relax your jaw, relax your face. Check in with your breath. Notice the sensation in your body. Notice the activity of the mind. And gently make your way up to seated. Bring the legs together, windshield wiper out the feet. And then make your way onto your belly, or Sphinx pose. You want the elbows directly under the shoulders. The forearms are parallel to the sides of the mat. Lift the chest, pressing into the forearms so you're not collapsing into the shoulders. You're lifting up out of them. And then on your exhale, drop your chin to your chest. And if you want to rest your head on a block here, that's also an option. down to your chest. Take your hands next to your chest and then push up to all fours. Knees together, big toes touch. Drop the hips back toward the heels. Coming into child's pose. So a couple things here. If you have cramping in the feet, you can roll a blanket or towel and place it in front of the ankles, on tops of the ankles. If you need more support behind the knees, you can place a folded blanket or pillow behind your knees. And then for the arms, you can extend them forward to stretch the shoulders and the upper back. If you have shoulder issues, feel free to rest your arms beside you. Child's pose is a nice grounding pose. It's a great release for the low back. It stretches the front side of the body while passively relaxing the back side of the body. Again, if you have knee issues, the alternative pose for this is to lie on your back and draw the knees into the chest, hugging the knees into the chest. That's a good alternative pose. Make your way up to all fours. We'll be heading into pigeon pose. And I'm going to show you a couple different options for this one because again, if you have knee issues, this particular variation might not be comfortable, so I'll show you a couple other variations as well. We'll start out by taking the right knee behind the right wrist and then working the right foot toward the left wrist. You can keep the right knee bent as much as you need to. Your shin does not have to be parallel to the front of the mat. And then you'll start to bump the left knee back. You can stay upright, which works a little bit deeper into the front of the left hip and the low back. You can come onto the forearms, or you can even rest onto the chest. Now option 2, you can take this on your back. If you have really tight hips, start out by crossing the right leg over like a number 4. You can keep your left foot on the mat and just gently push the right knee away from you. If you want more, maybe you take the left foot onto a block. And then going even further, you'll bring the left knee into the chest, thread the right hand between the legs, clasping the hands, drawing the left knee into the chest. So this is the alternative option. You can also do this against a wall. Just imagine my left foot here is pressed against the wall. prone position where your body is facing the mat, you want the hips to be squared forward or straight down or somewhere in between, just not pointing off to the sides. And if you need a little extra support under the right hip, you can always use a block or even a blanket under the right glute. No pinching or burning in the knee. Make your way onto your palms if you're not already. If you're prone, if you're on your back, just release. Take it back to all fours. You can extend the right leg out. Windshield wiper the foot. Circle around the hip. And then whenever you're ready, switch sides. Taking the left knee behind the left wrist, scoot your foot toward the right hand. Start to back the right foot up. Hips squared forward. And stay upright or drop to the forearms or the chest. And remember, you can always support the left glute with a blanket or a block. This posture is helpful for sciatic nerve problems. Just releasing gentle tension in the hips. the pose. If you're on your back, stay there. Otherwise, up to all fours, straighten out your leg, windshield wiper it out. And then when you're ready, we'll all go ahead and meet on our back for Shavasana. You can lie completely flat on the mat with the arms resting out beside you. Take the arms out like goalpost, maybe use a bolster under the knees. Lots of different options here. So just the main deal is to get super comfortable, super relaxed. Release all tension and all effort from your body. Forget about your breath, breathe naturally. And begin to observe your mind. Just noticing what kind of thoughts are arising. Letting them come and go as they please, without trying to change anything. No analyzing, no judging. Think of yourself as an outsider, looking in, without any opinions. Surrender your entire body weight to gravity, allowing the whole entire body to be soft and relaxed. I'd like to share a poem with you entitled Kindness. And I don't have the author's name here. I will put it in the comments. I just don't have it here with me. Before you know what kindness really is, you must lose things. Feel the future dissolve in a moment, like salt in a weakened broth. What you held in your hand, what you counted and carefully saved. All this must go so you know how desolate the landscape can be between the regions of kindness. How you ride and ride, thinking the bus will never stop. The passengers eating maize and chicken will stare out the window forever. Before you learn the tender gravity of kindness, you must travel where the Indian in a white poncho lies dead by the side of the road. You must see how this could be you, how he too was someone who journeyed through the night with plans and the simple breath that kept him alive. Before you know kindness, as the deepest thing inside. You must know sorrow as the other deepest thing. You must wake up with sorrow. You must speak to it till your voice catches the thread of all sorrows, and you see the size of the cloth. Then it is only kindness that makes sense anymore. Only kindness that ties your shoes and sends you on into the day to mail letters and purchase bread. Only kindness that raises its head from the crowd of the world to say, "It is I you have been looking for," and then goes with you everywhere like a shadow or a friend. So I really love that poem, and it's a great reminder, especially during this time, to be kind to others, to be kind to yourself, just having gratitude for all of the people that are working so hard to keep us safe, our doctors, our nurses, our grocery store clerks, all the other people that would take too long to mention. And just remembering that growth comes from challenge when we're outside of our comfort zone. Begin to bring your awareness back to your breath. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Draw your knees into your chest. And with the knees together, make some circles here, massaging the low back. Extend your right arm overhead. And then roll onto the right side, using your arm as a pillow. Make your way up to seated. Bring your hands together, the heart, chin to the chest. A moment of gratitude here towards yourself for taking care of your body, your mind, and your spirit by giving yourself the gift of yoga. And appreciation for what our body can do, for our breath, for our health. Thank you all for joining me this morning, sharing your time and your practice. Please say hi in the comments. I missed you guys all. Namaste. Enjoy. Have a great rest of your day.